In this section of the course, we will create this UI login screen. So I will show you how to add buttons inside your application. And also, I will show you how to create all this one. If you want, you can download the image from the resource. Otherwise, what you can do is you can find your own image for this application. So how do I find the image usually? Is I go on Google and I go on icons8.com. And then inside this one, you can write, by example, welcome. And you search some illustration. You can search and you will find the image that I just used. So this one. You have a lot of cool image. Also, what you can do is you can put icons if you prefer, and you have a lot of icons. I really like this website. So if you want to use your own picture, you can use this website or any website. See you on the next video in order to start this app. Bye. For this second project, we will download it from Git. Instead of recreating the new Flutter project from absolute scratch, we will just download the project because I have already added the launcher icon and the image inside the project. So let's do this. Inside the resource of this section, you will find this link to the website github.com/fluttermap/Flutter course app 2. And then you will click on this little green button code. You will make sure that you are on HTTPS and you will click on copy. If you don't know what GitHub is, it's just a place where you can store the code. Okay, it is very useful because I can put all my code inside the web and then you can download it. So GitHub is very useful when you learn to code. So I will copy this, then I will minimize my screen and I will click on Get from Version Control. Okay, then you will just add the URL right there. And as you can see, at the end of this file, you have the name of the project. So Flutter Course App 2. You can just copy this part. Okay, make sure to copy it because if you want to change the directory, so the location of the project, you can click there. And then you will have, like, by example, I will select this one, all Flutter apps. So I will say open. And as soon as you click open, you don't have the end anymore. So you need to paste it. You need to say /Flutter course app 2 just to make sure that this is similar. Perfect. Now we will click on clone. Here you go. So this is creating our Flutter project number 2. Good. So as you can see, if I click on project right here, when I click on project, I have the main that is already open. And the main have already like the image inside, the scaffold, the material app. I have put pretty much everything. I have the launcher icon also. So I will click on get dependencies because they suggest it. And then I will just run the application like this. Perfect. While it is running, I just want to tell you, you can see the image folder. This is a folder that I have created previously. You have the launcher icon, you have the welcome inside the popspec.yalm if you double click on it. I have already put the Flutter launcher icon dependency that we did on the previous section. And I have also put the Flutter icon and both image path. Good. So this saves us a lot of time right now. And when the application starts, you will see that you have a simple application with a white background and the image in the middle. And from this, we will start to add our button. We will change the color of the background and we will add the text right there. So we will do that on the further video. See you in the next one. Bye. In this video, we will add a background color for our application. So where is the background color? So all the white screen is the scaffold. So that means the background should be inside the scaffold. if we go on the scaffold widget inside, you can press enter and you have arguments inside. So you can press Control Space again to see all your arguments. Try to find the one that match the background color. So you can pause this video and try to find it and add the color, because we have already learned how to add colors. Otherwise, I'm gonna show you right now. So you just start by writing color. You have two choices. The background color makes the most sense right there. So we will use background color. And if we go over background color, we can see that this is taking a color. And we have already done this previously. We will use the capital C with colors, dot, then you have all the color you want. We will use the deep orange accent. Let's do this. And now if we restart the app, so I just press Control Save, Command Save on Mac, but if you save it on the Windows, it will do the same thing. And this is the same thing kind of when you press on play. So it's just saving the file and then hot reload the file. Okay, so now we have our background color. Next thing that we can add inside this one, we could add maybe a text right over. But you know what? We will do it on the next video, because this can be a lot more complicated than we think. So on this video, we just added the background color. And on the next one, we will add the text over. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So see you on the next one. Bye. Okay, so how do we add another widget over this one? Because the image is a widget called the image asset. You can see that in the body, we have one widget, which is the center widget. And then we have another widget inside the image.asset. But how do we tell Flutter, okay, but I want another widget, not inside, but over. So for this, we will need to use the widget called column. So we will have a column of multiple widgets. If you remember, you can go over center, by example, and press Option Enter. For Windows, it was Alt Enter. And you have multiple wraps. So you can wrap your widget center with something else. We will wrap it with the column widget. As you can see, the column widget have an argument automatically added by Flutter when we do this. Have an argument called the children. So the children mean we can add multiple widget. And the center widget have an argument called child. So that means we will have only one widget inside. Okay, and how do we tell Flutter, okay, we want a list? So a list of things is called with the square bracket. So you just say children, you add the square bracket, and then inside you can add as much widget as you want. So we have added the column widget, and next we will add over the center, so over the image, we will add some text. Do you remember what was the widget for the text? It was the text widget. Very simple to remember. And inside, if you remember, it was a string data. So a string is quotation mark, and then you can write whatever you want. So we will write welcome, like this. And I will put, yeah, this is important. I will just press enter to remove the square. What is important is right there, you can see that we have an error. Why? Because it said expected to find the comma. And right there, we are telling Flutter, okay, this is a widget, but we don't tell Flutter, okay, we want to add another element inside our column. We want to add another widget. To tell Flutter the difference between two elements, so this is the first one, we need to separate each of them with the comma. So now Flutter will understand, okay, this was the first one, and then you say the comma, and this is the second one. Okay, so now if we can just press this little, we can just press the thunder. So actually the play button and the thunder do kind of the same thing, but not always. This is just to refresh the UI, but this is to restart the application from the beginning. So it will reload the entire application. Sometimes when the light don't work, the lightning don't work, you can press the play. Okay. So right now we can see that the image have go up, but we don't see the welcome. Why? Because it is hidden behind this. And now if you want to put the column in the middle, you could try to use the center widget over the column, but you will realize very fast that this will not work. Why? Because the column have some exception, and this exception is inside the argument. You will find inside the column the argument that you need in order to put the column in the middle. So inside the column, you have two axes. You have the main axis, which is the size of the length of the column, and you have the cross axis, which is kind of a row. Okay, so a horizontal line. And on the main axis right there, we can see that this is not in the center. So we will say the main axis alignment need to be in the center. So we will use the main axis alignment. If we go over, we can see that this is taking a main axis alignment. So we will write main axis alignment with a capital letter. I will press enter, and then you say dot center. And if you save, so I will say Control save, this will replace the UI, and you can see the welcome text. So inside this video, we have add a column widget that allow us to put children, which mean we can add multiple widget inside. We have add the text widget, and we have used the main axis alignment dot center. Okay. So that was it for this video. And on the next one, we will try to use some row instead of the column. So see you on the next one. Bye. Inside this one, we will use the row this time. So where we will add the row. First, we have the welcome text right there. And if we want to add an icon just on the side of the welcome. So let's try to add an icon on the side of the welcome. Right there, if we go on the welcome, if we try to add like a widget over or under, it will be just inside the column. So it will be one over the other. So we need to wrap the text with a row. So we will press the Control Enter. It is not Control Enter, it is Option Enter and Alt Enter for Windows. And you will wrap with a row. So wrap with row. Let's do this. Perfect. Now if we put the light, so the hot reload, you will see that this is on the left side now. Why? Because we will need to use the main axis alignment also for the row. So the column and the row work the same. So for the row, if we press enter and we add the main axis alignment, because on the row, the main axis alignment is on the horizontal, and we want the horizontal to be in the center. So we will say main axis alignment, because this take also a main axis alignment, dot center, it is the same thing. So we say Control save, or you can press Alt reload, and this will be in the center again, which is cool. And now you have your children, and you can add another widget before or after on the left side or the right side. And we will add an icon on the left side, so before the text. We will write the new widget called icon, like this, with a capital letter. And the icon is taking icon data. Okay, this one will be a little bit more tricky, but I will show you how to add an icon data. So you will remove icon and you will write icon with a S. It is a little bit like colors, you know? We put the S at the end and then we say dot and we have all our suggestion. Okay? So we will try to find something like coffee, if there is one. So we will use the coffee rounded. And then I will press enter to remove the square. And we have the same error as before. Expect to find the comma. So we need to separate each widget inside our children. So I will put my comma. And now I will hot reload. And as you can see, we have our icon on the side of our welcome. Perfect. Inside this video, we have done kind of a lot. So I will stop on this one. We have learned how to create a row. We have put the main axis alignment .center for a row. And also we have added the icon widget. We have learned about the icon widget. And to add the icon data, you need to put icons.something. That's it for this one, and see you on the next video. Bye. Inside this video, we will add a button inside our Flutter application. So this is a column that displays the welcome, the image, and we will need a button after. So we will need to put this widget inside the column. So the column have children, and the children is a list of widgets. The first widget is the row, separate with the comma. And we have the second widget, the center, separate with the comma. And we will add our third widget called the outlined button. So the outlined button will be a button with a line on the exterior and something inside. So let me just give you the example. This is an outlined button because we have a little bar on the exterior. We will create this. Perfect. So the outlined button, I will just press this outlined button and we will have automatically the argument onPressed and the argument child. For the onPressed, we will put an empty function. So this is what we call an empty function, 2 brackets. And if you want to have a function that triggers something, you will need to add some function inside this. But for now, we will just have an empty function. Then we have the child. So the child will be a text because we want to have some text saying sign in inside the button. And we will use the widget that we already know, the text widget, like this. And the text widget, if you remember, it takes a string. So if you want to verify, you're not sure, you go over and you will see it take a string. To display a string, we use the quotation mark and you can say sign in. Perfect. I will save the project, so Command save. You can also hot reload if you want and you will see the button right there. Now we have 2 brackets, one after the other, without the comma. So we will add a comma between both and we will refactor the code like this. Right click, reformat the code, sorry. Here you go. Perfect. And now what we need is to change the text, to change the color of the text, and we need also to change the color of the outline. Let's do this. How do we change something inside a button? It is just a little bit more complicated, but I will show you how. So we go inside the argument of the outline button. Sorry for that. So we go inside the outline button. We have the style, and inside the style, we will use outline it. We will recall the name of our button, okay? And then we will say dot style from, like this. And inside the style from, this is where we will be able to change the look of the button. Let's go inside the argument of the style from. We have first the side. So the side is the outline. So we will press this one. And the side, if we go over, it take a border side. Let's add a widget border side, like this. And this one, if we go inside the argument with Control space or Alt space with Windows, you will see 3 arguments. We have the color, the style, the width. So right now we want to change the color of the border side. So we choose the color. And if you remember how to add colors, you just need to write the widget colors dot, and then you have all your color. We will use the white one for this button. Perfect. I will save or auto reload if you click on the thunder. And maybe we should add a little thickness to the border. So let's do this. We will put a comma to separate arguments. We will put the second argument, the width. And this width, if we go over, it takes a double. And a double is just a number with digit. So we will say 2.0. Because if we go over once again, we can see that this width is 1 by default. So we will put 2. I will save. And then you can see the thickness is a little bit bigger. Now, if we want to reformat the code like this, we will need to put a comma after the width and the 2.0. Like this. Perfect. Now we can reformat the code. Good. And last thing we need to do for this button is to change the color of the sign in. You can do this inside the text. If you want, you can go inside the text and change it, or you can do inside the style from of the button. We will do it inside the outline button style from. So if we want to do this, we have first use the style, the side. Okay, I will put a comma right there because we have 2 brackets. I will save again and I will reformat the code. So it is better, we can see it better right now. So we have the first argument inside our style from, the side. And on the second one, so after the bracket, we have the border side that finished there and have the comma. And right there, we will add another argument. This one will be the primary. So the primary is, if we go over, it is a color. And it is the primary color of this button, which is it should be the text, because this is the most important thing inside is the text. So we will say colors dot white. And then as soon as we auto reload, we have our button just like this. Here you go. So I will show you the screenshot we had. Maybe last thing we could do is change the format of this button. So yeah, we will do it right now. Let's do this. I will show you how to change the format of the button, so the width and the height. We will add another argument, and this one is the minimum size. The minimum size, if we go over, it takes a size inside. So we will say size, then we will open the bracket, and inside size, you can see that this takes a width and a double height. So we need to say the width and the height. So let's say, for example, 200.0 and I don't know, 50.0. Let's try this. I will save. And now we have our button. It is a little too much with 50. I will put 40 and you have your button. We will do the same thing for the other button on the next video. So see you on the next one. Bye. In this video, we will add the second button. This one will not be an outline button because it is full inside. So we will use instead just a normal text button, and the background of the text button will put it white. Let's do this. So first, we will need to create our second button. So the second button will be inside the column once again. If you remember, in the column we have the first, the second, the third widget, and we will add the fourth widget. Let's do this. So maybe you are wondering why it is working if we don't have the comma right there after the outline button. This is because it is the last element inside the list, and Flutter understands that this is an element. We need to put the comma only if we want to add another one after. So let's do this. We will say text button. So this is another kind of button. And the onPress, it is the same thing. It will be an empty function for now. Later in this course, I will show you how to create functions. So something that will trigger something else. The child will be a text also. So if you can do it right now. Otherwise, I will show you. So it is something we have already learned many times. It is the text widget. And then you put the quotation mark and you add, by example, register. Perfect. We have two comma right there, two bracket right there. I will put the comma like this, and now we can reformat the code. Where it is. So it should be reformat the code. Perfect. Okay, so if I save, now we should have a little button, text button. But we can see that this is not what we want. We want to add a background and change the color of the register. Let's do this. If you remember, if you want to change the style of any button, you need to use the argument style. Inside the argument style, you recall the name of the button. So this one is the text button. This, and then you say dot style from. Perfect. Inside the style from, you have many arguments. One of them is the primary. So let's change the primary. And this, if we go over, it take a color. So we know how to do that. We will say colors dot, and this one will be deep orange, deep accent orange. Here you go. And as you can see, the button has not disappeared. It's just the text is now orange, is now the same color. So we will need to put the background of the button white to be sure that we can see the text. So I will add the comma and I will say, by example, background color. We have one called the background color, which is good. Do we have another one called on primary? No, okay, perfect. So the background color is the good one. So it is the most obvious one right now. And I will say colors dot white. Like this, I will put my comma, I will save, and now we have our button. But it is not the same size as the other one. So if you know how to do this, to put the same size, try to pause this video and do it right now. Otherwise, I am going to show you right now. So we did it with the previous button, and it is inside the minimum size argument. Okay, so we will go inside the style from, we will add another argument, and this one is the minimum size. This one take a size widget with a capital S, size. We open the bracket, and inside we need to put two double, the width and the height. And we will use the same one, so 240. 200.0 and 40.0. I will save. Here you go. Perfect. So you have your two buttons. This is working fine right now. On the next video, I will just show you a little tips how to trigger something. So it will not be something very fancy, but it will be a quick video just to show you how we can trigger things. So see you on the next one. Bye. Let's add something inside our functions. This one will be the most simple function, so the most simple trigger ever, and it is called the print. So when we use the print with a lowercase, you can put anything inside. So it takes an object, and an object is pretty much everything. So we will put a string, which is text value. We will use the quotation mark, and we will call this one the outlined button. Outlined button. You can put whatever you want inside. And I will put the semicolon at the end because inside functions, you need to separate every element not with comma, but with semicolon. Good? So we have added the print outlined button. I will just hot reload. And now when we will press on sign in, So this one, the sign in, which is the outline it button. When we press on it, we can see on the terminal right there, so the run, we can see Flutter outline it button. So it has print the value inside the print. So instead I will put sign in. It will be more logic to do that. So I will refresh. And now when we press sign in, we can see sign in. We will do the same thing for the text button. So print, I will open the bracket, I will put the quotation mark, and I will say register. And you have the little error. If you go over, it says expect to find the semicolon. If you remember, inside a function, you need to separate every function with the semicolon. And this one is not like the widget. If you remember, inside the widget, the text button, the last one could be without the comma, because Flutter will understand that this is the last one still. But inside function, you absolutely need to put the quotation mark everywhere. Okay, so let's go back where we were, like this. So we have the register. I will auto reload, and then I will press on register. You can see we have the register, and if we press on sign in, we have the sign in. This was a very fast explanation of the function. We will dig deeper into it in the further video. But for now, let's finish this login application. So see you on the next video. Bye. In this video, I will show you a widget called the Sized Box. The Sized Box is a widget that we can use to put some width or height inside anywhere in our app. Right now, we will add a little spacing between the icon and the welcome. We will go where the icon and the welcome is located, so inside the row. And between both of them, so between the icon and the text welcome, we will add the sized box. So we use the sized box. And inside this one, we have the choice to use the height and the width. So right now we want to add a spacing between both of them on the horizontal. So that means we need to use the width. I will click on it. And then the width, if we go over, it take a double. So let's say we add, I don't know, 10.0. Is this good? Oh, we have an error. The error is, if we go over, we can see that we are missing a comma. And this is because we need to separate every widget inside a list with comma. Right there, we are missing the comma at the end of this one. And I will save. Good. We have our little spacing. So this video was very, very short, but this was just to explain you the sized box. It is a very useful widget when you code with Flutter. On the next video, what we will do is we will change the color of the icon, and we will change the color of the welcome also, I think. So see you on the next video. Bye. In this video, we will change the color of the icon first. So if we want to change the color of any widget, we need to go inside the widget, and then we add a comma to add some arguments inside. So you have 5 arguments. And maybe you are wondering, why is there no argument for this icon.coffee rounded? It is the same logic as the text, because the text, we just display right away the information, so the quotation mark and the text. And then if you add the comma, you will have some argument after. Okay, so if you want to add the color of the icon, you need to add a comma, and then you go inside the argument, and you will have, by example, the most obvious one, color. Color, if you remember, take the colors, and then you can put any color that you want. We will use the white color. Let's do this. I will save my app, and now we can see that we have the white color. Next color that we want to change is the welcome. So let's do this right now. I will go after the welcome, I will put the comma, and I will say control space to find all my argument. And the one, it is not making that much sense, but you need to know it. it is the style. So with the style argument, you can change all the style of the text. So we will use style, and then inside, and then how to know what style take, it is the text style. So we will say text style, then text style, we open the bracket, and inside the bracket, we have different arguments. We will use the color argument, and we will say colors dot white. Perfect. Then I will reformat the code, and I will hot reload. Now we have the welcome in white, which is cool. So in the next video, what we will do, so let me show you the screenshot of the app. The last thing we need to do is, not the last thing, but one thing we need to do is to change the font of the welcome. So what we will do is we will put some spacing between each letter, and we will add a bold over the welcome. So see you on the next video. Bye. In this video, we will add spacing between each letter, and we will add a bold font. Let's do this. This will be inside the text. So we have the text, we have the style. And if you remember, if we want to change something in the text, we need to go inside the style, the text style, and this is where we can change pretty much everything. Then we will add a comma, and we will say we have multiple arguments right there. First one that we will do is let's add the spacing. So we will write spacing, and we have the word spacing or the letter spacing. Right now we want the letter spacing. So I will add this, and we can see that this is a double. So let's say, I don't know, maybe 2.0 to see what happened. Yeah, this is good. We have some spacing between letters. Next, we want to add, let's say, the font bold. So this will be the font weight. So I will click on it. And if we go over, we have the type font weight. So it is the same thing, but with a capital letter. So we'll say font weight. And then we will say dot. And we have all the possibilities. So we'll use the bold. Like this. I will put my comma at the end. And I will reformat the code. Like this, with the comment on my keyboard. Here you go. I will just move this a little bit on the side so you can see better the code later in this course. If we hot reload, we can see we have the welcome. And last thing we will do, we will just change maybe the size of the welcome, because it is a little bit small right now. So let's do this. Let's try it by yourself first. So if you want to change something inside the welcome, you need to go inside the style and change the argument inside the text style. So let's try it by yourself first. And if you're not able, so pause this video. And if you're not able, then I will show you in 1 second, right now. Good. Let's do this. So first I will open all my arguments, and I will write maybe size. And I have one called the font size. I will click on it. And then if I go over, it is taking a double. So I will say maybe 20, and I will save. Here you go. We have a good UI right now. Okay, let me show you what we will work on the next video. If by example, I rotate this phone, look at what happened. We have an error saying the render flex layout, blah, 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 is not working. This is because our application is not first scrollable. And Flutter wants to display much widget, want to display the welcome widget, the image, and the buttons, but don't have enough place. And we have not tell Flutter that this application is scrollable. So how are we going to tell Flutter it is scrollable? So we will do that on the next video. See you on the next one. Bye. Inside this one, we will add a widget called the single child scroll view. And this widget is used to let know Flutter that the application is scrollable. Let's do this. So I will go inside the code and I will go up until I find the first column. So because the column is where all the widget are located. So we'll go over the column and then I will just press Option Return and I will find all the wrap possible. So we are able to just wrap with a widget, and this is what we will do in this one. So we'll say wrap with widget. Good. And the widget we will use, I just told you, it is the single child scroll view. So you should get it right there. This one. I press on it, and then I press enter, enter, and I save. And as soon as I save, you can see that the application right there we don't have the error anymore, and we can scroll it. It is very cool. So see you on the next one. Bye. First thing first, if we put the application back on the main alignment like this, we can see that the application is not anymore inside the middle. Okay, so why? This is because we use the single child scroll view, and the single child scroll view will take the minimum height possible. So it will say, okay, I can display all these widgets inside this height, inside the column. And then even if the column is saying I want to be in the middle, it will be in the middle because the first widget, the single child scroll view, will stop everything right there. So it is obviously in the middle in the column because the height with the single child scroll view is just this height. So there's a couple of things we can change inside this app to make it better. First thing, we don't see the welcome anymore. So this is what we call like kind of a notch, I will say. And there's a couple of phones that have this notch. What you can do to be sure that no widget will be inside this notch, you can add a widget called the safe area. So we will do this right now. We will add the safe area over the single child scroll view. So before we have the single child scroll view, we will press the option enter and we will wrap with a widget again. Okay, let's do this. The widget will be the safe area. And then I will press enter and enter and I will save. As you can see, the widget will come is back on the screen. This is because the safe area will make sure that no widget will be allowed to be under the notch. Good. So this one is a useful widget. On the next video, what we will do is we will change this location of those three widgets to put them back inside the middle. So see you on the next video. Bye. If we want to put back all the widgets inside the middle of the screen, what we can do is use a widget that we have already used previously. And this one is called the center widget. So if we go over the single child scroll view, because the single child scroll view take the minimum space, and the minimum space is all those four widgets. So if we go over the single child scroll view and we press option enter, then we can wrap with a center widget. So we'll click on it. And then if we hot reload, you will see that our application is centered. So we have the welcome, we have the image, we have the two sign in buttons. So the sign in and the register that create a print into the terminal, so into the run. Right there, we can see the sign in register each time we click on it. So that was it for this application, this login application, and see you on the next video for the explication of the practical exercise. See you on the next one. Bye. For this video, you will need to transform your application into this one. So the login application, you will need to change the UI in order to have a different color background. You can download the image inside the resource of this section to have this image. you will need to put the title in the middle, add 2 more buttons, and add icons on the side of the buttons. And also, as you can see on the side, when we press stays, we have stays that has been printed, flights also, cars, and all-inclusive vacations. So you will need to create this application, just play with the UI apps, and try to finish with this UI, so this Flutter application. If you are not able to finish it, then in the next video you have all the solution. But first, try to do it by yourself, because this is the way you will learn. And obviously, if you need to go on the next video to learn how to do it, then do so. And after, try again by your own, because this is how you will really learn. So that's it for this one, and see you on the next video for the explanation. Bye. Before we jump into the solution of this practical exercise, if you have liked this course so far, we have inside the description the link of the complete Flutter course. This is the course I wish I had when I started Flutter a long time ago. So if you want, you can check out the link. Otherwise, you can continue on this one to find the solution of the practical exercise. So let's start this right now. First of all, you should find an image inside your resource of this course. And it is the plain.png image. I will just copy this image and I will paste it inside my image of my project. So paste. Then I will say refactor and I will say add. Perfect. The add is just because this is a Git project. So we have 2 buttons to confirm. Then we will go inside the popspec.yalm and we will add another image. So we'll say image / plain.png. Perfect. Now we can press on pub get and we can come back inside the main file. So we have the little button get dependencies. We will click on it. This is the same thing as the popspec.yum that we have changed. So it's just to confirm that we have changed everything and it will get the information. Next, we will replace the welcome by travel app. And after we can find the image and replace it for plain.png, we will need to click on run and we should have our image. Perfect. Next thing, we need to move the travel app text after the image. So what we will do is we will copy this text. I will copy this and then we will paste it right under the center. So right under the widget of the image. Good. I will hot reload and now we can see we have the travel app right there. Now we can get rid of the row because the row is the icon and the text travel app. We don't need this anymore. Oops. I will delete that. Perfect. Okay, if we hot reload, we have our image, we have the travel app, and we have our 2 buttons. Right now, what we want is to have an icon on the side of the button, and we want to change the name of the button also. So what we will do is the outline button, we will wrap it with a row. So we will say option enter, and we will say wrap with row. Good. Now if I refresh, this should be on the side. Perfect. And now, just before the outline button, we will use the icon widget. So icon, and inside you put the icon data, which is icons dot. And then you can put the first one, which will be like a, I don't know, city. You can find city, I guess. Yeah, location city. Perfect. And we will change the, we will add the comma for sure. And then we will change the print and the text. The print and the text will be stays. So we will change this for stays. This one also stays. So if I hot reload, now we should have our icon and the stays. We will put a little spacing between both of them. So we have already learned this with the sized box. we'll use this widget and we will say inside the width, and we will use a 20 width, 20.0, and I will put the comma at the end. Good. So this, if I save, should have a little spacing. Now we want the row to display everything in the center. So for this, we use the argument main axis alignment, and we say main axis alignment. We recall main axis alignment because this is what it takes inside. So we say main axis alignment dot center. Oops, we don't see it. We should have it. Oh, main axis, sorry. Alignment dot center. We select this one. Now, if we reload, we have this on the middle. Perfect. We just need to change the icon color. So we can go inside icon. We add the comma and we put the argument color for colors.white. Like this. Perfect. Now we can reformat the code. So I use the reformat code on my keyboard, which is like Option Command L. And now, if I reload, we have the icon in white. Now what we need to do is add those two more buttons. So I will copy this one. So the row, all this row, I will copy it like this. Control C. I will go down and I will paste it another time. We will add another button. This one will be the flight. So I will put maybe plane if we have a plane icon. So airplane mode active. We'll use this one. And then it will be instead flights. And this one will be flight also. Oops, Control Z, flights. Perfect. So if we reload, we have another button, call it flights. We need to do the same thing for car. So I will add a third button. I will write, instead of stays, I will write cars. I will write cars there also. And we will change the icon for a car, if we have a car icon. We have a car repair or car rental. We will use the car rental. Perfect. Now I will just reload once again, and we have our three buttons. The last one is the all-inclusive look vacations. And this one, we will go inside the text button. We will need to add the same thing for the row. So I will just wrap this with a row, Option Enter, and I will say row. Then inside the row, I will just go copy the icon and the sized box because we have already done this. I copy it and I put it inside the children. Perfect. And now I will just need to change the icon, and what we can add, maybe it will be a bag. Can we add bag? Or yeah, let's add a boat maybe. Yeah, boat would be perfect. So we will put a boat, and we will change register for all inclusive vacation. Perfect. So I will copy this, Control C. I will replace this, and I will reload one last time. Oh, we just need to add the main axis alignment. So I will go copy the one inside the row, Control C, and I will paste it right inside this one. I will reload once again, and here you go. We have our four buttons. We have the travel apps. We have the other image. Two more things we need to do is putting the sized box between the image and the travel app, and the sized box between the travel app and the buttons, and change the background of the app. Let's start with the background of the app. We will put it in yellow. So we'll go inside scaffold, and I will say yellow. And I will use this one. Perfect. I will reload, and we have something very weird. So maybe we will use another color, like I don't know, pink. Maybe it will make more sense. Pink, it is better. So we have this one, and I will just make a spacing between the travel app, like this, the image and the travel app. We will add a sized box. This sized box will have a height, and we can put maybe 40, like this. And I will copy this sized box. I will paste it right after the text, and then we will hot reload for the last time. Here you go. So we have created our application for the travel app, which is just an image with the text travel app, and we have our 4 buttons that when we click on it, we should see, if I go on the run section, we should see what we click on it. So all inclusive, car, we can see it right there. Car, flights, and stays, which is very nice. So that was it for the practical exercise. If you absolutely need to do it, you need it to have this video to do it, then I highly suggest you to retry it by your own only. And this is how you will learn the most. So see you on the next section for another app. Bye.